talk about less is more, probably need your involvement. So why did many organizations embrace Agile? Why? Delivering value early. Someone has been successful. So organization has been successful. Awesome. Someone told to follow them. Someone is following, I'm following. So frequent feedback, early feedback. Fast fail, okay, cool, fast fail. What else? Client's requirement. That's super awesome. Client told me do Agile, so I do Agile. I want to continue to live in the market. That is correct. So survival. Change is constant. Fast to market. Other frameworks fail. So let me try something else. So I think, so I categorize these three. So these are the three things that motivates Agile adoption. There are many things. For me personally, these are three things that's driving Agile adoption. Motivation, I agree. So none of the reasons came here are any less, but for me these are the three personal ones. Have you achieved this? Getting there, kind of, partially. Some Agile transformations have been successful, some are ongoing. So what is the Agile transformation? It's a mindset change, but journey, that is the key. Someone takes, it's not going from the Hussain Sagar Lake to high-tech city. The journey does not end. It's continuous. It's like a life. You keep on learning. So many people don't understand that. That's reason for failure. So I'm going to go to this picture. So, what is the picture telling you? Taking risks. Big leaps. Much more to achieve. So when someone starts Agile journey, more often than not, it's a leap of faith. Either here, not there. Awesome, I was hoping for that. So I've done Agile. I think I'm worse than what I was. So previously, at least, I got some kind of value output 6 months down the line, 1 year down the line. Now I don't know what's happening. And I transformed to Agile and people tell me you are not Agile. Now I'm neither waterfall nor Agile. What am I? So that's a cryptic message here. So so the real message is, so the example is, I've done Agile transformation. I've been successful. I've done Agile, I've done sprints. I have software delivery every sprint. I'm faster time market. I've developed the product. The market is out there. The product is out there. Am I successful? Do you consider it as a success? May not be. Why not? So, product value is achieved. Success of the product is the end goal. Agile is not the end goal. Many people forget that. Why does the organization exist? Sorry? So the second thing, it's a business. Every organization exists to make money. How do they make money? By satisfying customers. So many organizations say if we're satisfying customers, money is a byproduct. So there are two kinds of talk. They'll say they're doing lip service, man. They're really there to make money. So it's Two different mindsets, but both are very intertwined. Customer happiness, making money. They are there for both. Are we there yet? So many organizations have done Agile. We have delivered the product. How successful are the products? So this is a study. By industry, the amount of products that is delivered, Agile, non-Agile, whatever you want to call it, failure. You have done a beautiful Agile implementation. They are doing Scrum. They are like working like a well-oiled machine. And the product is not successful. What use it is? He talked about happiness. We are very happy. We are working at a sustainable place. We have purpose. We have mastery. But the product did not succeed. Will you be happy? Nope. How do you? Sorry? So it's one of the things organizations change. So the purpose needs to be set as customer happiness is our purpose. So if a purpose is to deliver software, then the purpose needs to be changed. Correct. So that's the purpose change. So some organizations have a mindset, hey, my purpose for this organization is keep delivering software. So it's not making customer happy is not your purpose. That needs to be changed. That's what I was trying to get at. So once you said that, you will not be happy. So you want to make your product successful. So probably you will not be able to make 100% successful, but you want to increase this number, move the needle. How do you achieve that? Solve the problem. So I want to go to this picture. So this is your Scrum model, right? So let's look at the backlog. What is a backlog? To-do list. Where did it came from? Where did it come from? Customers. So customers, right? Product owner. So where did the product owner get it from? Stakeholders, customers, market research, all that. So why is the backlog item there? Add value. By delivering value, you're trying to say it's going to solve a customer problem, right? Right. So by market research, talking to customers, stakeholders, the product owners identify, you're trying to solve a problem, and they put a backlog item saying, I think this will solve the problem, right? More value, it will solve their problem. So you're trying to solve a customer problem. Hey, for me today, I collect money, I collect through cash. How can I make it faster? That's a problem for him. You make a digital payment system, that's a solution. That is your way of solving the problem. So what is the product owner doing here? He is providing a solution, but the solution is based on what? So there is a problem. He thought of a solution. The solution is still a what? Idea. On paper only. The other word for it? It's a hypothesis. It's just an hypothesis. Today, most of the requirements, everybody that comes in the backlog, it's hypothesis. It's not tested. Assumptions. More than 80%. So there is a guy called Martin Fowler. There is a video, he talks about this. So there are ways most companies work, and there are some best-in-class companies work. What do best-in-class companies do? How do they solve this problem? How do you make sure your hypothesis is not a hypothesis, but is a truth? How do you do that? Validate it. Awesome. How do you do that? How do you validate your hypothesis? You have to POCs. Experiment. They call this the lean startup. So you have an hypothesis. Hypothesis came out of assumption. You think there is a problem. You assumed these are your set of criteria based on which your problem is solved. Correct. So in a project, what do they call mother of all evils? What is the mother of all evils when you do a project? Assumptions. Assumption is also another word for risk. Biggest risk to a project is from assumptions. So how do you eliminate risk? Validate assumptions. Simple. So how do you go and validate your assumptions? So let's take an example. So I think this guy is having a cash transactions. So he's saying, I'm not able to get enough people into the store. So I added 10 cashiers. They're not able to process it. You assume digital payment is a way of solving the problem. How do you validate it? I'm assuming that the customers would be having digital cards. They would be willing to use it. All those are assumptions. How do you validate it? How do you test it? Make a POC and deploy it to a store and see what happens, how customer behave. Before going and building a full-fledged product, you'd first deploy your solution. So it'll be a very, very bare minimum MVP without the bells and whistles. It'll be very bare minimum. Then you'll deploy it and see how customers react to it. Does it make sense? So that's what they're calling it here. Describe a hypothesis, identify assumptions, plan a test. So how will you plan it? There will be many assumptions. So how will you plan a test? Exactly. So what is the biggest risk to your product? So if that assumption, I assume that my customers will have a credit card. You deploy a product, if they don't bring a credit card, your assumption is busted. Build your test. Prioritization is eliminate your largest risk first for your product. Does it make sense? And you iterate. So you either, so the test may be a simple interview, asking questions to people, or it may be a POC, or for C2C customers, B2C customers, it could be direct deploying code to your live site, but only targeting customers. So it's available only for few people. In Facebook, you might have seen, there is a small feature release. They'll not build the entire thing, but it will be targeted, released very few of their customers. And they'll see how they behave before rolling it out and building it out. Will they use it? Will they not use it? Make sense? So you'll test assumptions, and then based on what you learned, you will analyze, rethink, and go on. Make sense? Awesome. Sorry? It's a lean startup. It's not from me. I did not develop anything. Yeah. Prioritize. So you will validate all assumptions, but you'll start with the largest risk. Then you will not go to the other risk at all. So you will go and say, hey, my basic assumption based on which my hypothesis is invalidated. So I'll go and try to come up with another hypothesis. So
you have to answer the largest risk first.
Correct. So based on that, what you're saying is there is a problem and there is a solution. If you invalidate your largest risk, your solution might itself change. How you address the problem will change. So that is the most important thing. Correct. So you basically prioritize. If the first thing passes, then go to the next thing. Keep on doing. Go and build out the next thing. So I will lay out one thing. So this is all great. You told me how to validate risk. So I'm working every day. How do I go and do this in my organization? So you have learned something here. Most of you are Agile practitioners. True?
So from the retrospective, you got some feedback. So try to put that into next development cycle and see that there is some improvement done, or try to
how long does you think this, so I'm not ignoring what I was saying, but I'm trying to answer your question. So how long this cycle you think will take? 2 weeks. The ideal answer is it depends upon what you're testing. Depending upon the problem. It can be a day also. Awesome. So that's what I was trying to divert. So it's your situation. So most product companies have something called a roadmap. You do quarterly plans. And then the product owners are still thinking about what problems to solve for the next quarter. Ideally, as a Scrum team, what kind of work you should be doing? Currently, you're doing definitely valuable work. You're delivering value to customer. In addition to it, what should you be doing? Innovation. So what is innovation? Correct. Correct. So you have ideas, but what is the first step you have to do for an idea? Validate the ideas. So your backlog should consist of what items? 2 kind of items. So spikes is for you to understand how to do the story better. The idea is already there. The solution is already there. So you're spiking to see, you're trying to eliminate technology unknowns and requirement unknowns, how in business unknowns. Feasibility, what, right. So, but we are even one level higher. You're going and selling, is it going to solve my problem? It's one level higher. There you go. So you have to build a prototype. Who will build the prototype? A separate team doing it? You're going to hire someone? Sorry? So bigger organizations have dedicated UX people. Most teams. The UX is embedded in the team. Team does it. So tomorrow when you go into work, what is the idea, seed you will plant in your product owner's mind? So if you go and tell your product owner, let's do POC, what will be a reaction? Exactly. So how will you sell this? So I would begin asking question. So let's have conversation around what are we planning for next quarter? Allow them to present a vision. Like 2 months before. They'll say, I don't know. Right? You should ask why not? And then to support your argument, what you should do is, you would have done some features which would not have played out the way the product owner and you vision has played out. You should take out the examples. So you are not asking for user stories. So, correct. So you're asking for high-level visions. So asking, hey, what are your thoughts on next quarter, what you're working on? And then the next thought you will see it is, hey, take this example. We did this last feature. It failed. It did not meet what we intended to. Can we do some test? Then you should talk about, what do you mean by test? You test only after you write code. What test are you talking about? So these are customer tests. Correct. So you should. Correct. So your backlog should be a combination of 2 items. You are trying to determine what the roadmap items for the next quarter should be, and you're working on the current roadmap item. It should be a balance of both. That is how best-in-class companies work. You're rapidly testing your ideas and rapidly deploying ideas that have succeeded. That is what best-in-class companies do. So we'll look at a small video. Correct. Correct.
Secondly, when such kind of idea pops up, they can use the given slot to the team as the owner. The team itself can decide that, okay, I can use my 10% of slot for this kind of research.
So ideally, what I would say is, so this is a prioritization from the product owner. There will be a list of backlog items. One will be, hey, work on an idea that has been already validated. The second item is go and develop a test so that I can validate this idea. So it is a user story. It is not a team allocating time just to do test. So in some sprints, you might be just doing, working on ideas that are validated because there is no new idea to validate because they are still in discovery phase on what the customer problem is. In the next sprint, they have discovered a customer problem and they think they have a solution. They want to validate it. So they'll bring it up to the backlog. It's up to the product owner. That's what I'm trying to say. So you will not block off specific time. For the team, it will not be different. It's another backlog item. It may be a core product that you're deploying to live. Otherwise, it will be a core product deployed to live, but very, very targeted to, they'll call A/B testing. You might have heard of it. Correct. You will not develop everything. So very small, and then you'll point to a merchant to get feedback. Make sense? So now let's watch this video.
I'm JB Brown, the Nordstrom Innovation Lab Manager, and this is the lab. We work on 1-week experiments. Somebody will have an idea and we'll find a way to figure out how to prove if the idea is going to work. And this week the Innovation Lab is going to be building an iPad app with customer feedback as we go through the week. We wanted to work in the store to make sure that we were getting customer feedback as we worked so that we were never working on anything that wasn't valued by the customer and only doing things that are delivering value. So we'll be building a feature and testing it until we get to the point where we have something that's good enough that we can just leave the iPad app behind and have this new thing that customers can use. This is the world's first Flash build. It's a flash mob where a software team shows up and builds an application in a surprise location. This is the Nordstrom Innovation Lab, and we're at the flagship store in downtown Seattle. Right now the team is just setting up their equipment to get started. We're going to build an iPad app that helps customers pick the best pair of sunglasses for them. We really don't know what the features are yet. We're going to use customer feedback as we go along throughout the day and the rest of the week in order to build the best thing.
So the next thing we're going to do is a user story map. So we're going to sit here and together outline all the steps the customer would take, and actually even beforehand how they buy sunglasses, like what are the different things that they might do and how that process might change if we have this application. And then we'll actually dig into what we have to build in order to support that process.
So now that we've done a card mapping, we're going to do a paper prototype, and this is something that we commonly do in the Innovation Lab. It's a great way to show what we'd like to do in a rough prototype that we can easily throw out, change, alter, based on feedback from the customers. I'll continue building individual paper slides, and our user experience specialist, Tel, will bring the prototype to a customer and say, okay, I have this app, and this is a paper version. I'd like you to kind of use it like you would normally use an app, and you can press things, interact with them, and then she'll change out the pages based on how the customer uses it. So it's a similar experience to the iPad, only an analog version.
So it's day 2, and we have our first working prototype of this app. And how it works is I take my first pair of sunglasses, put it on, take a picture, all right, and then I want to compare it to this other pair I've got right here. Put these on, take another picture. I can just hold these up like this and see which one I like better.
Well, Tel and Kim, talking to people and doing paper prototypes, we've been coding, building an iPad app. We take a stab at something, we look at the paper prototypes that Kim put together. We might take one at a time. Usually we come to the board and we grab the most important feature and we started implementing it. The really cool thing with this flash build is that we have actual real customers. Just today we delivered 4 or 5 different separate features, and I deliver it, swap the iPad with Tel. She'd go and talk to a customer, and 10 minutes later I had feedback from real customers about this thing that I delivered, and it changed how we did the next thing.
And it's been really, really great watching day to day what they've been doing, the team, to get all the feedback from the salespeople, the feedback the salespeople have gathered from the customers. And it's a really interesting process to kind of come in. On Tuesday, we had no idea what this would look like. There was an idea that somebody had to say, people take a lot of pictures of themselves with the sunglasses. It'd be cool if we could show them side by side to help them make the process better. And that was the idea, that was it. They came in, they had nothing built, and they've been building this literally on the spot throughout each day. And by now, we actually have an app, a functioning app that they can go through. It's very intuitive to help look at themselves and make the sunglass selection process easier, which is pretty cool to watch.
So yesterday the sunglass buyer for Nordstrom came down to check out our progress, and she happened to put on polarized glasses and then held up the iPad in portrait view and was surprised that she couldn't see anything because it was black. And we figured out that the polarization of the iPad running up and down and the polarization of the glasses running vertical cancel each other out. You don't see anything. But if you turn the iPad to landscape, you see perfectly fine because the polarization of the 2 items line up, and it's okay. So it was a pretty good find to be in the store, and she just happened to put on polarized glasses. And so today, first thing we're going to do is switch it to a landscape design and then lock in the aspect ratio of the iPad so customers and salespeople just naturally pick it up and use it in landscape and not try and go to portrait.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what we've been working on the last 5 days. We've added quite a few features over the week. You take a picture, multiple pictures of the customer, and then you can pull them up. You tap the first one, you can see it larger, and then tap the second, and do a side-by-side comparison of each glass next to each other. We also added a feature where you can rename the picture, because we heard from salespeople, if a customer's trying on quite a lot of glasses, it's helpful to be able to know what order they were taken in, and also rename if you want with the brand or some distinguishing feature about the glass. Another feature we added was the ability to zoom. You can zoom in and really get a good detailed look at the frames side by side. Also, to see one of the pictures larger if you want to just better view of one frame. You can flip the camera view as well. Face it forward so the salesperson can take a picture of it like this, or you can flip the camera like so. Take a picture of yourself facing forward. And then at the end of it all, we have a button called New Customer, which just erases all of the images and allows the salesperson to start with a new customer.
We're just trying to put the final touches on the app. Tel talked to a lot of users, and they said that when we went into the compare view, it was unclear where the pictures were coming from and which picture was which. So the animation here is trying to solve that problem, make it a little more clear what's going on. One of the challenges with software is when are you done, right? And I think the answer is really, it depends on how much time you have. At least the most important things got done. So this was time boxed to a week, and we did a week's worth of work, and it seems like what we have now is something that makes customers happy and addresses the main problems, and something that we can track, we have metrics on. So I think we're gonna call that a day.
The application has developed so far. Everything's finished, everything that we've asked for, and even the little roadblocks and glitches that we kind of stumbled across as we use the app during the week has been solved. I think that it's going to be really easy to be able to implement into our sale, and I think that we're going to find a lot of success with the application, whether it's via a selling tool for us or if it goes public into a downloadable format. Whatever happens, I think this was generally quite a success.
The lean startup is a very important component of the transformation. So many organizations do transformations. They focus on right here, this portion of the equation. So they do execution, they do delivery, and they do product owner, which is half-baked. They say product owners have to write just user stories. So they leave out product innovation portion where hypothesis, the lean startup concept is a very, very important thing. And then also you have to focus on organization and leadership, which you are not covering here. So this talk show is about business agility. So we will just confine ourselves. But when you do a transformations, you have to consider these 5 elements into any transformations. So this is Solutions IQ's custom transformation framework. We call it LOBD. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.